Hi, I'm Mike Rooney. We're here at Art of the Carolinas, and I want to do a free art lesson on how to sight, size, draw this photo onto the canvas. Let's say I want to paint this photo. I've got to draw it on the canvas first. A lot of times I'll be doing a workshop and I notice that a lot of folks don't know how to draw. I mean, there's some basic things you have to know how to draw before you can paint, and I'm going to show you some simple ways to measure and take proportions that'll help you get it from here to here. Or let's say you're outside painting plein air and you have this scene in front of you. I can make sure you get all the proportions right onto the canvas. It's called sight size drawing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to take this and put it on here. Now a lot of you guys know, if you ever went to any kind of art school or you were in high school and took art, they always just drew grids on here onto the painting, and then you basically gridded off this one and you just transpose whatever was in this block to over here. Well, we don't have time to get out there and draw all these little lines on the paper, so I'm going to show you a better way to do it. A quicker way, let's say you're in the studio and you're going to take this photo and make a painting of it. What you would do is, instead of drawing the little grids all over the thing, is you would just draw an X from corner to corner of the painting, like so. It's not going to go on that too well, but there you go. All right, there's the X, okay? Then you draw an X onto your canvas, corner to corner on your canvas. Now you've got to do it the same dimensions. It has to be the same ratio of height to width. So let's say I draw it on there. Next thing you do is draw straight across from there over, straight through the middle of the cross, top and bottom. Okay? Then you do the same thing on this one, top and bottom. So now it's like a starburst, okay? Instead of having all these little square grids on there. Now you just take it section by section and you look at this section. Where does this steeple hit going up this angle? This angle is going to be the same angle on here as it is on here. So you look at this and you go, hey, this kind of makes a triangle right here. Okay, so if I make the same degree triangle, basically, there's where the steeple, where the edge of the steeple is. The steeple goes above this line right here just a little bit. So there's the steeple. Now all of a sudden you know exactly where the steeple goes. And you do the same thing on the bottom. You make a shape. Now you can either use the positive shape, which is this, or you can do the negative shape, which is the sky. I always like to use the negative. It seems to help me to do better if I'm not seeing that as a wall, but I'm seeing that blue as a shape. So it's easy for me to come in and just draw where that shape is. So this kind of goes up a little bit. It goes across. Now this is really small, but you get the idea. You're just doing it quadrant by quadrant. So I know there's nothing much in this quadrant. All of a sudden the building is even with this line right here. So there's the building. How far does it go up? Well, just figure out there's a little skinny rectangle right in between and figure out about how high up the building goes. So there you go. There's where the building is. Now, if you were drawing that, you might draw it way out of proportion. You might have the building so low, you might have the steeple so high. So see how just doing that little grid right there, even if it was a big painting, you would still be able to grid it on there and get the steeple in the right place and all that. So that's a neat way to do it. But when you're outside, you can't do that, right? You can't draw lines onto the landscape and just start doing this. So you have to do something called sight size drawing. And what you do is basically you take the panel, you look at this right here. Let's say I'm outside and I'm painting this scene. This is a scene in Wilmington. I was on the street when I did it. I want to get these buildings and things onto this canvas. What I do is I'll measure. I'll take something as the standard, okay? So I'm going to say, I'm going to use this building kind of as a standard and figure out what's what. So I know that I want the building sort of in the middle. I want the edge of this building sort of in the middle of my canvas. I'm outside painting now, remember, and I'm looking at the scene. I'm going to make the edge right there. I have to determine that. Then I say that this building is that wide and it's that high. So it's as high as it is wide. Now, where do I want the top of the building? Okay, I know I need room for the spire, so I know I have to drop down some on this side for the building to be, and it's as high as it is wide. See how I did that? Now I'm going to pull this down off of here and show you. You just take it like this. It's that wide and it's that high from the roof line to the, I guess that's a canopy, okay? So that makes a square, that wide and that high. So if I draw that, I'll have the right dimensions. So let's say I draw it right there. So however wide I make it, I have to make it that high. So all of a sudden it's that high and it's that wide. So that is that square right there. Now I know that I can use this. I can say, okay, this building is half, or this awning is half the size of this square. All right, well, it's not a square, this is a rectangle, so I will come up from the awning just a little bit, and I would guess, and what you do a lot of guessing. You say, I think that this is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 or 5 of these widths right here. So what you do is you just take geometric shapes and start using them as almost like a ruler out there. You say, oh, I'm going to make it 6 high. So if this is the awning, let's see how high the awning is off the street now that we're using this as a basis. Okay, we're going to say that the building from the street to the awning is as high. This is halfway, in other words, from the street level to the top of the roof. So here's the top of the roof, and if this is that piece right there, we're going to say that this is halfway to there. So the street's going to be down here. So see how by using a couple of simple geometric shapes that are already out there, I'm determining how wide and how far apart things are. Now on this one, I'm going to say how far. I'm out there out there painting plein air. I want to say how far away from the building is the steeple. Same thing. I measure I measure the width of the building, and I see that the width of the building to almost the middle of the steeple is the same width. So I'm using, and you do that with your brush. You take your brush and you hold it up on top of the thing, and you move your thumb down like so, and you make a little marker. And you say, okay, there it is. Now you can turn that sideways, left, right, move it around, do whatever. That's the measure. So I'm going to measure from here to here, and I find that if I do that, the width of this building is in the middle of the steeple. So if I say that here's the width of my building from here to here, if I measure that, I make a click right here, I know that's the middle of the steeple. It's pretty easy, right? Oh man, that's awesome. So now I know where the steeple is, because if you hand draw it in there, you might make it too close, you might make it too far away. So long as this is that far away, oops, I didn't do it right. I knew it looked a little close. All right, so there's there, and this is the middle of the steeple. So I draw the steeple on both sides of it. Now I can use this. I can also use this as the measure for the steeple. How high is the steeple? Boom, it's that high. It's as high as this building is. So the steeple is going to be that high. So as you can see, I can just keep doing that, and I can get the whole thing right onto the panel. If you'd like to see more about me or my work, go to MikeRooneyStudios.blogspot.com.